All right, if I'm looking at these where it gives me the X and the Y on there, what I would suggest that you do from the beginning is write down what the sides are based on the angle they give you. So if I'm looking at this 24 right here, what side is the 10?
Opposite.
The what?
Opposite.
All right, so there's my opposite. What side is the X? There's the adjacent. And then Y is the hypotenuse. That's what I would do on every one of them. Because then when I start working the problem, I can see which sides I'm talking about. If I'm trying to solve for X, I'm going to pretend like the Y is not even there. So if Y is not there, I'm dealing with 10 and X. Which two sides are those? Well, opposite adjacent, which means it's got to be tangent. So I'm going to do tangent of 24 equals 10 over X.
10 divided by 10.
That's a division problem. Y'all tell me what the number is.
$22.4.
All right. 22.46.
75.
22.5. All right. So I've got the X taken care of. So now it's gone and I'm going to do the Y. Well, which two sides am I dealing with now?
Let's cosine and sine.
Right. Which two sides am I dealing with? Opposite and hypotenuse. What rule is opposite and hypotenuse? Sine. So I'm going to say sine of 24 equals 10 over Y. Variables in the bottom. Divide again. What is that? 10 divided by sine 24.
24.6.
Do those answers make sense? Well, 24 is smaller than 45, so 10 should be the smallest side. It is. Y is the hypotenuse. It should be the biggest side. It is. So the numbers make sense based on what we know should happen. All right, if I'm looking at number 2, based on the 58, what is the Y?
Adjacent.
All right, so there's my adjacent. X is my opposite, and 19 is hypotenuse. So if I want to solve for X, what sides am I dealing with? Opposite and hypotenuse, which is
Sine.
sine. So I'm going to say sine of 58 equals X over 19, opposite over hypotenuse.
That's going to be multiple.
So I multiply, because the X is in the top.
16.1.
18.1?
16.
16.1. All right. Then I go to solving for Y. So X is
That's
gone.
going to be.
That's adjacent for Y. Hypotenuse,
Cosine.
that's cosine. Cosine of 58 is Y over 19. Another multiplying.
10.
So 10.1. Go back and check the answers. 58, is that bigger than 45? Yes.
Bigger.
So 58 should be the biggest side. X is bigger than Y, and then hypotenuse is bigger than both of them. All right, for number 3. This would be my adjacent side, opposite side, and hypotenuse. So what would solving for X be? What? Give me the rule.
10.
Tangent of 63 equals what? X over 24. Number in the bottom, I multiply.
47.1.
All right. Go to Y. If I'm looking at Y, I'm dealing with 24 in the Y. Well, that's adjacent and hypotenuse, which would be what? So cosine of 63 would be 24 over Y. That's going to be a division problem. 24 divided by cosine 63. What we get? How much? All right. Number 4. There's my hypotenuse, opposite, and adjacent. So if I want to solve for X, which two sides?
Opposite.
16 is the opposite. X is the hypotenuse. Opposite and hypotenuse is?
Sine.
So sine of 34,
16 over X.
16 over X. Divide.
28.6.
All right. Go to the Y. I'm dealing with 16 and Y. That's opposite and adjacent, so that is tangent. So that would be
16 over
16 over y. Divide again.
23.8.
How much?
23.8.
Number 5. There's adjacent. There's opposite. There's hypotenuse. So solving for x
Cosine.
would be adjacent hypotenuse, which is cosine.
49.
X over 13. Multiply.
8.5.
Then for y, I would be dealing with opposite hypotenuse, which is sine. Cross multiply.
9.8.
And then the last one, there's my opposite, there's my adjacent, there's my hypotenuse. So for x,
Tangent.
would be tangent of 51, x over 22, multiply,
27.2.
how much?
27.2.
Point what?
2.
Go to y, that would be cosine 51, 22 over y, divide,
35.
what'd y'all say?
35.
Just 35?
Yeah.
All right. Are there any questions on what to do with those right there? Write down what the sides are, see which two sides you're dealing with, use that trig ratio and solve it. All right. If I'm looking at these, if it gives you one of the trig ratios, it doesn't matter if it's sine, cosine, or tangent. We're going to do the same process. It tells me that tangent is 3/4. Well, what I need to do is this. Draw a triangle. Whatever letter it tells you, A, B, that doesn't matter. Just put it on the triangle somewhere that is not the right angle. So since it says tangent of A, I'm going to do that. I can put this A up in this top corner up here and it'd be fine. I just can't put it on the right angle part. All right, what is the rule for tangent? Tangent is opposite over adjacent. So that means 3 is what side? The opposite side. So if A is down here, which one is opposite? That's over there. That makes sense?
Yep.
4, that's my adjacent side. Which one is adjacent to the A? The one on the bottom. All right. So now I've got my triangle set up. What am I missing? How do I find that hypotenuse if I'm looking at that right there? Do Pythagorean theorem. Now, hopefully, we recognize this as what? A 3, 4, 5. But if not, you would say 3 squared plus 4 squared equals x squared. 9 plus 16 equals x squared. 25 equals x squared. And get 5. Now, once I have that, then I can say, well, what is cosine of A?
We have the rule.
What's the rule for cosine?
Adjacent.
Adjacent over
Yeah.
hypotenuse. Which one is adjacent to A?
4.
The 4. Which one is the hypotenuse?
5.
So cosine of A is 4 over 5. Sine of A, which one is opposite from A? 3. And hypotenuse is still?
5.
So there you go. Draw the triangle. Put in the letter at one of the angles that's not the right angle. And then do Pythagorean theorem if you need to. Find the missing side and do that. All right, let's look at the second one. And I'll give you a couple. I'm just going to put A at the top this time. It doesn't really matter.
Clearly, you're going to find the hypotenuse.
Am I? Because what's the rule for sine?
Opposite over hypotenuse.
Whoa. Sine is opposite over hypotenuse.
Hypotenuse.
So where would the 8 go the way I've got the triangle drawn here? On the bottom, because that's my opposite side. 17 would be where? That's the hypotenuse there. So now I'm missing that side. Well, what is my next step?
Pythagorean theorem.
I'm going to do Pythagorean theorem and say x squared plus 8 squared equals 17 squared. Because remember, hypotenuse has to be by itself. So I will do x squared plus 64 equals equals 289. X squared equals 225. Alright, so I get 15 for X, so that means that side is 15. Alright, cosine of A. What's the rule for cosine? Adjacent over hypotenuse. So what is adjacent to A?
15.
15. And the hypotenuse is?
17. 30.
So there would be my answer there. Tangent of A. What's the rule for tangent?
Opposite over adjacent.
Opposite over adjacent. Which one is opposite from A?
8.
And then which one is adjacent?
15.
15.